This episode of Important If True is brought to you by Quip. Very nicely designed, compact, and portable electric toothbrushes sent to your home with brush head refills every 3 months. And if you go to tryquip.com/thumbs, you can get $10 off your first brush head refill. That's tryquip.com/thumbs.
Nice. Nope. Gotta stop that.
Nick's about to explode.
I refuse. I refuse to stop.
That's fine. I refuse to stop. The Nick Brecken story.
You can clear your
He's still
throat.
doing
Nick,
it, and it's weird.
I don't like what you're doing right now.
Nick Brecken is asphyxiated while not recording a podcast today. What are you doing? You're just...
You know what he's doing? He's waiting.
He's just sitting
He's
there
waiting
looking...
for the appropriate time. And the appropriate time comes right after I say... It's July 27th, 2017.
And this is Important If True. I can't use that.
For Idle Thumbs, I'm Chris Remo.
I'm Nick Brecken. Fuck.
I'm Jake Rodkin.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
It's been so long since we did
Nick
a
was
podcast
engaging
that I
in
was...
some kind of weird, like, hunger strike style psychological behavior just
Nick's
now. I don't
breathing
really know what
games.
was going on.
Yeah. Well, you know.
I told Nick not to do a thing, so he aggressively
That's
didn't do it
what
and
you
made
do
me notice.
when you're a child.
Yeah.
You have, in fact, described yourself as a child performing that exact tactic.
Really?
Yeah, haven't you? I can't remember the specifics of it, but I remember you expressly telling us one of the things your mother wrote in her sort of diary of raising you, which, by the way, we need to get more of that material because it's been a while since we've read any of that. But didn't you say something about how you wouldn't eat food or you wouldn't do something like just to spite her?
I think it was I wouldn't poo.
You wouldn't poo. That's what it was. Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Well,
there you
that
go.
was a mistake. I
Yeah, that
shouldn't
was
have
a
brought it
total. You put your foot right in it, Chris.
Yeah, I really did.
Right off the bat.
Ugh.
Look. We are.
Well,
start
We've
the clock.
done so
Start the
many
clock
weeks.
over.
We got so many weeks.
Look, instead of talking about
back at
poo,
zero.
Yeah.
let's talk about robots.
Oh,
that's true. I actually have a minor thing that is happening
thank
this
God.
week that is related to sort of
robots and poo.
our automated world.
Okay.
I order. It is in no way related to the second thing that Nick just said.
Good.
Okay.
I ordered a pair of bookends on Amazon. I ordered the cheesiest possible thing, by the way. I ordered bookends that are in the shape of like a pineapple split in half. So the two bookends are two halves of a pineapple.
Nice.
To sort of like that will
You
go.
made that pineapple
that are-
sandwich.
Yeah, that
My
will sit on the
classic
top of our sort of
image.
like little tiki standing bar with all the tiki glasses.
This is to separate.
straps on
This
it.
is to hold a bunch of books about how to make cocktails.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. This is just
That's the appropriate use of pineapple bookcases.
Yeah,
or
and
bookends.
it sort of cracked me up, and it seemed like a good idea. So I bought it from Amazon, and I pressed buy, and it was 2 days, Amazon Prime, it'll get to your thing. So it it arrives 2 days later, and I open the box, and the thing that's in the box is a like purple floral terracotta flower vase. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. That's annoying. So I email Amazon and they're like, oh, sorry about that. Here, we'll send you a new one and then you can return this one and we'll send you a shipping label and whatever. It's fine. So I'm like, okay, great. And they expedite it. So the next day I get home from work and there's a package waiting for me and I open it up and it is a purple floral terracotta flower pot. And I email them back and I'm like, what is this? Like, what is going on? Can you send me another one and like check this time? And they're like, oh, really sorry.
Send it to me.
Yeah, send it to me.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, so sorry about this. Don't worry even about returning these yet. Just don't worry about it. We'll send you another one. And I'm like, okay, great. Literally the next day, they've been overnighting these because of the error. I get home from work. There's a box waiting for me. Great. I open it up. It is a purple floral print terracotta vase. At that point, I knew that's what it was going to be. Like at that point, I'm like, I know what this is going to be. It was the exact same item each time, and there was a little print at there were a little sort of tag on the bottom of it that said exactly what the product was, which was like I like remember it by heart now. It's like 9.25 inch height, purple floral print terracotta vase. And I quoted it every time in these emails, and I sent it again, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry about that. We'll we'll refund your thing." And I'm like, "Could you send like a message to someone in the warehouse saying that your inventory
There is no one
is obviously wrong? Like there's something an item is
Yeah.
Something is
mismatched."
misfiled.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, I'm really sorry," and they're like, "We'll refund your order. We'll like give you your money back." And I'm like, "Okay, great." Assuming that what they meant was that they would give my money back, but still send me the right thing, like still send me the order. But instead, my order just got canceled entirely. So now I'm sitting at home with 3 purple floral terracotta flower vases, and I
Right.
have absolutely no use.
And if you want to win one of those flower vases, right into no.
So then I go back to Amazon.com, and I'm like, you know what? I guess I'll just place this order again. I guess I'll just buy
Oh, wow.
one of these. Yeah,
That's a bold choice.
I know. I went and I bought my stupid gold
Pineapple.
pineapple bookends, and then 2 days later it just arrived and it was fine.
Now you should
Weird.
try-
Once I like broke the chain of that
Yeah.
weird
Huh.
Okay,
cycle.
you should try going to your initial order and reordering it, and see what happens.
Order this item again?
Don't find. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just go to the
I mean,
page for the
problem is-
9.25 inch purple terracotta pot and order that.
Oh,
and
I
see
should
what
actually
happens.
look at the. Yeah, I should actually look at the page for
See
that.
if you get a pineapple.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is that every time a new one came, I could see on the pineapple page, it was started with like only 12 in stock, order now. And by the time I was done, it was down to only 9 in stock. But it was for this pineapple. They
Well,
only claimed to be. So yeah, maybe I should order the problem is I would then have to spend like $30 or whatever on this vase,
yeah.
which I don't really care to do.
You have 3 though, so you should bring them in. We should. Just,
We could just decorate the office with them.
Yeah.
I actually only have 2 left because I did send. I sent the first one back with the.
we'll buy a 3rd one to match. It's fine.
Yeah.
Just order that pineapple.
Yeah. I right. So anyway, that was my experience with sort of automated reality.
Good work.
Yeah. Thanks.
Nice.
Good work, man.
Now I do now have a very cheesy set of pineapple bookends on my bar. It's really
You did it.
I like it more than I should. What can I say?
5 stars.
That will
Would buy
surprise
again.
nobody still listening to this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we also talked about Amazon last week and sort of the relentless march of algorithmic Amazon orders. And I wonder if some Amazon algorithm was just really insisting that that flower pot was actually the thing I'm really
It knew.
meant to order. This is actually
Yeah.
what your home needs. We have because there was a thing recently that was just said where Facebook apparently is developing or has or something. They're researching the ability to sort of covertly turn on your computer camera, your webcam, which is super
Jesus.
fucked up.
Wow, that's
so that it
cool.
can study your face and analyze your emotional reactions to things.
Every story about that needs to include the photo of Mark Zuckerberg at his desk with the electrical tape over
I
his
know,
Oh, yeah,
I know.
yeah, yeah.
Give me a break, right? But anyway, maybe that's what Amazon was doing to my home
Oh,
and
true.
determining that, like, these 3 vases placed at strategic points in your home will elevate the decor and coherence.
They're really reflective, and Amazon can in fact do a reverse cast into the spherical map reflected in that vase to see the rest of your apartment
man.
through your webcam.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like the fucking Dark Knight Batman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please
using
place these
cell
base
phones
stations
as-
exactly
yeah.
12 feet around each corner.
So,
These 12-inch floral print purple base stations.
yeah. So we have something that a lot of people wrote into us about.
a mall security robot may have in fact committed suicide.
Bold claim.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a tweet that has a picture of a robot in what looks like a mall or office park fountain, and the caption in it just says, "Our DC office building got a security robot. It drowned itself." Uh,
And it's in like a shallow pool of
Yeah,
it's in like
just 90
4-inch
degrees
standing
tilted
water.
over, just like drowning in.
yeah, the photo's amazing because it has
Nothing.
what are probably actually just building security or like technicians or maintenance guys
It looks
around
like
it.
a crime
It
scene.
looks like a crime scene. It
Yeah.
looks like it's two cops looking at a drowned body on a TV show.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
This is one of the I recognize. So Jake, you've read about this. I have not. I've just seen the infinite photos people have sent us of this. This has been one of the I would say top 3 stories in terms of people of the number of people who sent it in to us. And when I
Yeah, the Nightscope.
that's what it is. Nightscope. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
thought it was Nightbridge. No, Nightscope.
Nightscope.
Way
but
more
spelled with
way
a
more-
KNI.
KNIGHT scope.
Yeah, this is the robot that I believe we talked about on this podcast at least once before.
Yes.
This is the one that can, that they were, I believe the manufacturer was saying it will do things like measure ambient temperature and air pressure in order to somehow divine likelihood
If
of
you're a
criminal
criminal,
intent
yeah.
and
Yeah.
all these different things. Yeah. So this is the like Minority Report
Yeah.
robot that apparently could not foresee its own demise.
Yeah.
Or it could. I mean,
Yeah,
could,
it was silenced.
It could be less Minority Report and, excuse me, it could be entirely Minority Report. It could be criminal technology becomes sort of so self-aware and remorseful that maybe it decides
Right.
to just end
Yeah.
it now.
Also, like Minority Report, it lives in a shallow pool of water.
Yeah. The thing that I can't remember if we talked about all the different things that the Nightscope robot has done, but it keeps showing up in the
I remember
news.
it like knocked over a kid one time.
Yeah, it ran over
yeah.
a kid's foot.
Yeah.
It hit the news also when a drunk man got mad and decided it was going to show the robot whose boss was the wording, and beat up and knocked over the robot, who was then put back on patrol. But it's the Nightscope security robot is interesting in that it's slowly become ubiquitous enough in public places. Like, it's not in very many, but it's in enough that
It's in enough that local news stories can
Yeah.
happen
Right,
to it once every several months.
Humanity
It
is
feels like that
having
happened-
repeat encounters with the Nightscope security robot.
It feels like it happened very fast too. It feels like we talked about this
I know.
on, like a couple
This
of
is-
weeks ago, and
yeah.
suddenly it's just
It was-
one of them's
yeah.
drowning.
We first talked about this, I think, on Idle Thumbs
Yeah.
a number of months ago, but nonetheless, you're right. I mean, it's been in a very short period of time
Yeah.
that suddenly this thing just lives in local malls and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Somebody wrote into us a couple of weeks ago actually and said, I was just reading the internet, and because I listened to your show, here's an ad that I got, and it was just the lineup of all of the different Nightscope robots that they make, and it looked like something out of Terminator.
Oh,
where
yeah.
They were all just like, and he was like, oh, this is like a joke thing, and then he's like, oh no, this is a real ad.
So
What?
there's
crazy.
currently 2 models of Nightscope robot in service. There's the Nightscope K3, which is not what this one is. It's like a smaller one. It has a colorful front panel on it, and it sort of just spins around and does basic security stuff. The one that's really popular in malls is the Nightscope K5, which is the 5-foot tall one that just looks like a Dalek from Doctor Who. Like, it just looks
Well, it looks like if a Dalek met Eve from WALL-E.
from WALL-E. Yeah, it's just sort of a big, like, half an oval, like a smoothed off cone that runs around. But what Nightscope has been looking to get funding for, and seems like they have recently secured funding for, is the Nightscope K7, which is a 4-wheeled roving autonomous vehicle.
Oh, no.
That is it's only
Jesus.
like 3 feet off the ground or something. It looks like if you took like a 4-wheeler that you'd use to like ride around in the desert, like in sand dunes or something, like a little ATV that you'd ride around, but then smoothed it way out and turned it into like a Tron light cycle. Except that its job is just to like patrol outdoors autonomously, searching for people.
Wow.
They're
Searching for who?
I don't know. It's a
People.
It's like a
People. Our algorithms
Humans.
will determine which people to search
I
for.
think that it's being pitched around as like
eventually
this is
all of
for
them.
parking lots, but it also could be like for your ranch or the border of the United States.
Oh, God.
Like I'm sure that's
boy.
what. So it's getting to the point, and I know that I always take things to an arbitrary, ridiculous, fear-mongering standpoint, but their website has an FAQ on it. And one of the questions is, are your security robots armed? And they have to be like, no, they're not. These are not for shooting anyone or anything. But like, the fact that they have to write that should hopefully be like a wake up signal to them and their trajectory. I feel like anyway. Here's their robot menagerie.
Yeah.
Wow.
It looks like it just looks like
That looks like concept art. That looks like concept art.
No, that
renders.
looks like the set of a film.
Yeah,
where they're just like here's our
Mass
cool
Effect
like
the movie or
lineup
something.
of
Yeah. But no, it's a
Wait,
weird,
so how is this robot murdered?
which
What-
robot?
Oh, how did
I
he
don't know,
fall
I mean,
over?
The subject of this
Did he just trip down the stairs? I
Well, it
think.
says that it's-
What robot? Says Jake
Yeah.
as he quietly
anymore.
is removed from
Right.
the room.
Well, I mean, this photograph of this mall
yeah.
security robot in Washington D.C. Let's also point out that it was murdered in our nation's capital.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry, murdered. Sorry.
The setting of Minority Report.
This tweet says suicide,
Yeah.
right.
but they're not criminal investigators. There's no comment as to whether or not they've opened a criminal investigation. There's no comment as to whether or not they suspect homicide.
Well, they need
and
to-
we know that when there's no comment as to whether or not an investigation is open or they
That's
suspect
true.
homicide, this robot was definitely murdered. It was ice cold.
Yeah.
Well, they must have a black box,
Like
right?
that
I mean,
water.
they must be able to sort of go through and see its last moments, right?
That's true. This robot should be
And
able
what
to
it's
solve its own
thinking.
goddamn murder.
This is definitely one of the
Our best and brightest is still
Plug
in
it
the
back in.
hospital. We can't. How is the mall security team
you
going to
guys,
solve this crime without their
please
robot?
Lower him into a large box of rice so he can dry out.
Until then, we may not be able to see. It's okay to put him in the dishwasher as long as you put him in the rice afterwards. If he fell in and got dirty,
That's a tip, by the way. If you don't know that, if your phone gets wet,
or a security robot,
put it in a sort of jug of rice, and the rice will draw out the moisture.
Oh, if this story ended with the security have like requisitioned a rice silo, by the time the robot fully sinks to the bottom of the
Yeah.
silo, we can get him out and then
Yeah.
replay. We can get that content off his SD card safely and securely.
All I can think of with the actual robot being pushed into the pond is just its presence in, as has come up before, classic present day montage of the events leading up to Terminator or Blade Runner, or what I guess Blade Runner is not the right call there, but any far future or actually near future,
I know.
sort of robots gone amok.
The
film.
Nightscope Corporation is exactly the name of the company.
I know.
It's-
How is
it's
that
really
The fact that they built
just-
the rolling one now, like everyone was very worried about Boston Dynamics. I'm less worried about Boston Dynamics now because they're
Too expensive.
one. I've honestly never actually been worried about any of these things because what's the point in legitimately worrying about them? But Boston Dynamics, yeah, making
Well,
whatever, it's just gonna happen. We
Yeah.
have no agency over the situation, so it's just a joke. But Boston Dynamics makes the Big Dog and the Cheetah and Atlas and Petman and all of the like military grade, incredibly advanced ones that actually like give your brain like a Lovecraftian response to seeing like limbs not working
Yeah.
correctly, but behaving
Yeah.
like a living creature that has no head and all that other fucked up stuff. But the mall security robots are the crazy ones because they're just going to be all over the place, just doing their thing.
Yeah,
Like,
there's going to be trundling around looking like boring utilitarian
yeah,
objects.
like the Big Dog and Atlas ones.
They look
Any
like,
montage they show up in would be like directed by Catherine Bigelow. It would be
Right,
like
yeah.
huge,
Yeah.
RPGs blasting off
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
helicopters
yeah.
going. They're already in a war zone, whereas these are the ones that are like
Just background.
The kid hugs the thing that she thinks is a robot, but then
Right.
also the kid hugs the actual robot that then runs it over. And like, was it a medical emergency or what? Like, was it on purpose? And like, yeah, this belligerent man punches robot in mall. Robot found dead in fountain. Like, this is actually.
Yeah.
And then those headlines are running concurrently with Nightscope develops autonomous roving four-wheeled vehicle for off-road, can patrol the streets safely.
I mean,
your gated
oh,
community
God.
guarded by Nightscope Corporation.
the other movie this could be is the one that actually is in the near future, and the human detective protagonist's partner, Nightscope K3, was just found face down in a mall shallow pond over last night.
Right.
And he gets in that next morning and is like ruefully smoking a cigarette and he resolves to solve this crime and avenge his
He always insists on driving the cop car, and Nightscope's always like, I could drive, and he's like, I got it.
I could drive. I wouldn't even have to get into that seat.
you could
I
just
could just start doing it.
you
right
could
now.
just ride me.
I really want you to.
Yeah.
Just once, please. Just
Yeah.
once. Please, just once.
Let's fly
Please,
like
please
the
ride me.
wind.
Please.
it would be so
Climb
beautiful.
on my head.
I come equipped with a rumble seat.
Ugh.
What he does, just to open up that hatch.
I mean, that's
Maybe
that's
the drama comes from, you know, this human cop who basically thinks he's the best because, you know, he's partnered with this stupid robot, and, you know, they've shown each other the ropes, and they've, you know, one's shown him how to play by the rules, and one's showed them how to not play by the rules, and you get results and whatever. But maybe right the night before he was murdered, maybe it was I don't even need to get out of the seat to drive. Like, I've actually been doing all of this stuff. Like, maybe they somehow have the equivalent of the two buddy cops who are on the outs get fucking drunk together. I don't know how the robot gets drunk, but it just decides to initiate drunk protocol. And it admits that maybe the other guy sucks and he's been doing all the work. And this guy's a crisis of conscience, wakes up blacked out the next day, and the robot is dead.
Oh, man,
And then did he kill his partner or not?
Oh,
I think
man.
that's
really
the story.
Oh yeah,
It's really good. It's a really good pitch.
Yeah, thanks, Nightscope. Probably actually owns that IP and has robots that have generated 15 sequels.
Yeah.
I imagine
Yeah.
they also, if they're making stuff that looks like this, they probably also must
Yeah, they
have an
have a
entertainment
content
licensing arm.
Yeah,
yeah, of
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got Nightscope Creative off in the other room with
This-
one human. And
Nightscope K3 also
one
has
chain smoking human.
has an entertainment arm that his partner steadfastly refuses to give a try.
Oh no, that's true. He's gonna turn that on 100% in like the third sequel with Joe Pesci. when he's
giggling
voiced
Joe
by
Pesci.
Joe Pesci, when he
Oh,
turns on
man,
that
yeah,
mode,
oh,
he
God.
doesn't. You don't even need to get Joe Pesci showing up as the wacky third character. This robot just can like have whole fucking shitty shtick conversations to itself with its Joe Pesci AI.
That's true.
If there was actually, I'm sorry, I'm still thinking about this mall robot. If there was
Oh, yeah,
actually
sorry
a
to
sort of like
divert
Shane
you.
Black movie, like a Lethal Weapon style buddy cop
Yeah,
story
yeah.
with those two guys, the way that you've learned that sort of, I'm assuming that the cop is basically the Mel Gibson character, like it doesn't play by the rules, asswipe.
Right.
But when he learns to respect and actually work with his buddy partner and they get results like never before, the two of them are like on the docks hidden behind some like tied down stuff, and he looks up over the top and turns back around. You know, then they're being held at gunpoint and a huge action scene happens. The way that if he starts saying to his police robot, doesn't look like anything to me, and that's how the robot knows that there are in fact three guys. And that's how they like
man.
play the they're
Yeah.
like,
Oh, wow.
you know, like the criminal mastermind
God,
looks at
yeah.
Mel Gibson confused as to like why the thing
Why
that
is
he
he
says
saying
is that
that?
one,
Yeah.
he's saying he doesn't see anything, but he said it 3 times. Like a human wouldn't know what
Yeah,
it means, but
yeah.
then the robot would just immediately turn around and for the first time would have a gun because this robot doesn't usually have one,
Right.
as we know from the Nightscope
Yeah.
regulations. But it's learned.
But it 3D,
it's learned
it
a
3D
shitty
prints
moral.
a full gun
Right,
from
inside of
it,
itself,
a thing
yeah.
that can just
Right.
happen now. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, because it's learned a little bit, but yeah, then it just ices 3 guys, and then it says some wisecracking joke that implies that it's basically wearing some like Hawaiian sunglasses
Right.
bullshit.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
it deals
yeah,
with it.
that's
definitely.
definitely-
Hasta la vista, baby, baby, baby.
Yeah, the learning moment though is him saying doesn't look like anything to me, and then like
Yeah.
gives like a sly look to the robot who totally knows. Oh, he's speaking
Yeah,
my language.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
Man, when it says hasta la vista, baby, baby, it definitely rotates each time to each corpse.
Yes, right, yes.
Hasta la vista, baby, baby, baby.
And then smokes 3 cigarettes.
actually it then just rolls over their hands and they scream
Yeah.
in pain.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's now owning the fact that it can just do damage to humans accidentally.
Yeah. Mel Gibson lights up 1 cigarette while the robot simultaneously lights up 3 vape pens.
Right, yeah, yeah.
The robot just starts smoking out of a hole that you think maybe it's malfunctioning, but then it makes like a satisfied exhaling sound.
Alternatively, maybe in this film, Mel Gibson actually vapes and the robot weirdly smokes an actual cigarette.
Right.
That it's using
Which it
to,
picks
like,
up off the
as-
hand of a corpse that it's run over. Probably.
Yeah,
It
yes.
just takes a long drag
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and then tells Mel Gibson you should really quit. That's when. Anyway, they're back together now that the murder was solved. After there was the scene of Mel
Yeah.
Gibson waiting outside the hospital room where the robot was doused in rice,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
just waiting to see if he'll properly,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Sure.
dehydrate
His
himself.
circuits will dry out.
Yeah. This seems
Well,
fine.
that's all fine.
Anyway,
Well,
when that was on College Humor, it underwhelmed.
we actually have a very relevant email that connects to this. This was written in for the Ruination cast, which we're actually recording moments after doing this podcast, but it is so relevant to what we're discussing that I'm going to just sort of swipe it from Ruination. This was a question asked by Reggie Clark, who writes, if you were really a robot, would you want to know? Which is that's an intense. I mean, that's basically what Blade Runner's about, sort of. I mean, Blade Runner's not
robots.
It's not robots.
You have to be in,
but
right?
it is basically that.
You would know if you looked like a mechanical robot. So it has to be a situation in which
if you were the Nightbridge. What if the Nightbridge?
I thought I was human the whole time.
Everything about that movie is exactly what it was, except that one of that.
You know you're a robot,
traits
right?
Is that he?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
He's just a normal.
Oh,
person.
if that Nightbridge is in fact powered by the brain of his old partner.
Oh.
But
wow!
But his old
That's
partner.
really good.
Is it good? No, it's not. None of this is good.
No.
This is all terrible.
No. It's really good.
Chris. Okay, it's not.
It's quite good.
Oh, it's only good if he never, for some reason, sees a mirror and then wakes up in the hospital and looks in a mirror. And then is a robot. This is all terrible and it's delicious. Anyway, he would have to know he's a robot.
What if you programmed a robot to believe itself to be a human being, and just also because it's a robot, you can just also
program it to not
disregard
recognize anything.
Any evidence to the contrary, and just not like. I mean,
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a very dark version of this, where you literally can't know.
Yeah.
Because you're just programmed to not hear it.
That's just the Westworld conceit, right? That's the people.
That's true.
The people in Westworld who just say it doesn't look like anything to me whenever they're shown any contradictory evidence of the fact that they might be a robot. Yeah. But what if instead it was a buddy cop story and one of them was this mall robot? I think that'd be a better story
I think
than
so
Westworld.
too. Yeah. Get on the ball, HBO.
Yeah.
What I want to know? I don't care.
Here's a.
I would want to know.
Just fucking tell me. Yeah,
I would
let me know I'm a robot.
I want to know.
Maybe this was a suicide, and maybe it just found out.
Oh, then it is going to wake up in the hospital. It tripped the circuit inside of it that made it recognize that when it looked in the mirror, what it was actually seeing was its robot self. Like it just wasn't aware all the rest of the time.
It looked in the pool of water and saw the reflection of its own gleaming white plastic
and then reached out for it and fell in.
Yeah. What's that? What is that strange being? And then it sort of touches it in its water.
And then it fell in love with itself, in fact.
It fell in love with itself.
Yeah, it's like a bird
seeing there forever.
Itself in the mirror.
Until eventually its servos rusted and its battery died and it tipped over and fell into the water.
I love you. I love you, Wobot, it said, and then killed itself.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
It would have stayed there forever if not for that manufacturing defect that all of these robots were recalled to have fixed, but it never did because it didn't know it was a robot. Tragedy.
Oh. This is the most strangely dark half of this podcast I think we've ever recorded.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Because it's all trash.
Well, it's definitely all trash. I'm not arguing with you on that one. Woof.
What if a robot that didn't know it was a robot found out that it was a robot because it saw its own reflection in the mall pool in which it works as a security robot, then fell in love with the robot who it revealed to be itself, then was sad, but before it could save before it could solve it, its servo gave out and it died. Also, it was a buddy cop.
Where's my partner been? The end. Ugh. Well, should we take a break?
Would you want to know if you were a robot, given all of what we've discussed?
Man,
or
really
putting all of that aside as one should.
Definitely putting all that aside. I don't know that any of it's relevant.
Yeah, you'd have to put it all aside.
God, that's really hard to answer. If I actually try to engage with that seriously, the weight of it is crushing to me. Because, I mean, the fact that it says, would you want to know, implies that there's a moment at which you didn't know that, and it's being revealed.
You're finding out.
Right? I mean, I guess if the question is...
If someone just said, Chris, you're a Cylon or a Westworld.
Yeah.
It depends on what kind of robot you are.
That's the thing.
Like, if I'm a cool robot.
Yeah.
It depends on your... I mean... The fact that I think
let's assume we're a cool robot.
Let's assume you're like
for the purposes of this question.
Sweet robot.
I think the way that you have to answer this question is almost contingent. It's almost sort of stipulated by the formation of the question itself, which is that if you are a being that has the ability to consciously want things, like to and not just but I mean intangible things like knowledge of
Yeah.
sort of existential knowledge, right? About
because
yourself.
this is presupposing that you are indistinguishable in your own thought from a human, right? I mean, like,
Right, or
Right, you've
yeah.
existed for
you at least
decades
have
on Earth.
complex sentience. In
Yeah.
order to
Right.
care about this question at all,
Yes.
you need to have some level of complex self-awareness and sentience that means the question would have any meaning in the first place, or you wouldn't be able to express an idea
Exactly.
about whether. So, if that were true, it would be a crushing reality, right?
oh, I think I'd be
I mean,
fine with it.
I guess part of it depends on the social surroundings, right? Now, if I were in this position right now, I would probably say no, I don't want to know. But maybe if it
Because
was,
once you found out, you as a robot would be forced to kill both of us in this room. Like, your life would be changed
true.
forever.
yeah.
but maybe far enough in the future, if there's a point at which robots, generally speaking, are commonly sort of highly sentient and self-aware, maybe the stigma of being a robot would be less, and it wouldn't be as big
Well,
a deal.
would it just be you who knows? That's the question. Like, if someone basically sent you a thing that was like, touch this fucking RFID chip to like the spot above your left temple, and then your eye is going to turn inside out and a laser is going to come out of it, and then you can just close it back up, and only you'll know this information.
I mean,
What?
this
Wait,
is
what?
kind of.
The information you know is that your eye can...
Like, if you just have
like,
irrefutable proof that your body is bionic, like if you press a thing, you could just now.
Oh, and your
skin
arm just
fucking
splits
comes apart
open
as
and
a
you're like,
Terminator hand,
"Whoa!"
which is the
So
universal
you're
sign.
saying-
of
Oh, that's the
revealing-
worst way to find out. My God, what if your brain just just like came apart and then it just went back and you're like, oh, that's fine.
Right,
Like, Jesus.
What if you witness something about yourself horribly traumatizing and like, impossible
Right.
to reconcile with your
Yeah.
understanding of the world?
Yeah, this is
Yes.
the Videodrome
Yeah,
scenario.
no, I
This
don't
is
want
like,
that to happen. My answer
Yeah.
to that, Jake, is
Well,
no.
how is there?
Don't do
how
that
is there
to me.
irrefutable proof of this that is not viscerally
yeah,
damaging?
That's
to you?
true. That's true.
Like,
Ed.
how is if someone's like,
If someone just
you're
saying
a robot, and then you're like,
Uh,
prove it.
well,
How
this
the
is
fuck do you
similar-
prove it? We know the way you prove
Yeah.
it is that your eye does something weird,
This is
or
actually-
your skin comes off your hand.
This
Those
is
are the
actually,
ways.
yeah, this is actually similar to the Matrix question that we answered the other week, because at some point you
I-
have to have the moment where you're just like, your brain explodes, right? I mean, like, that's the,
Yeah.
otherwise you just don't.
How do you know I'm a robot? I can't tell you. You have to see it for yourself. Eye explodes,
Yeah.
laser comes out, brain expands.
Yeah.
I mean, or is this the good version, which is shitty? It was you can just jump way farther and you're
Yeah,
not
you're
gonna die.
the same.
Yeah.
You're just really cool.
You're just cool.
You're just,
No.
you're just totally sick.
that wouldn't
No.
be the case, because you would have known.
Why?
Well, I mean, at some point you would have realized it, right?
No,
That you
that,
could-
No.
those systems are not turned on.
Oh, I see.
It's a-
They haven't flipped the bit that allows you
yeah,
to
it's
be
a
a
neural
cool
net
robot
processor,
yet?
a learning computer.
Oh.
As if that explains it to you.
No, I understand.
But it
now.
can't learn this particular thing.
Yeah,
Right.
there's some things that it cannot learn.
Yeah,
It has to be told.
right. Yeah.
Anyway, we
Well,
are
what about
all
you guys?
robots.
I've
We're
been
all.
wrestling with this. You haven't wrestled with it at all.
Yeah.
Oh, just tell me. Just fucking tell
just
me.
wanna
Yeah, I would
Just-
want to
I wanna
know
the
instantly.
truth.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
ruin my life.
Yeah.
But would it ruin your life though?
Yeah, if you're revealed that you're a robot, you're gonna be fucking crushed in a dumpster.
What?
You're gonna
How
big,
would that happen?
a big hydraulic press
Yeah,
will
you're a
crush you,
robot.
or
So, like, I gotta tell you
lava
something,
will
Jake.
douse you.
I gotta tell you
You'll
something.
be machine gunned.
You're a robot, and now we got to put you in a dumpster. Like, that's a different thing that someone's telling you.
No,
that's
no,
not
no,
part
no.
of this. That's not part of this.
What I'm saying is,
you're a robot, and the lava's
If you
over
were-
there,
all
and
right,
like
here,
I'll leave you alone.
No.
but you've
Rephrase
gotta.
this question for clarity. If you were really a robot, would you want to know if being told also required you to be crushed in a dumpster, and not being told meant you did not have to be crushed by a dumpster?
but still could buy a different robot.
You might be. This does not
Your
preclude
odds-
you from being crushed by a dumpster in the course of normal events that may result in a
Okay,
human being.
so
being inadvertently
an
crushed by a
AI
dumpster.
has got
Yeah.
two
A
boxes,
dumpster.
one of which includes your normal odds to be crushed in a dumpster. The other one includes
An actual
You'll
dumpster.
significantly,
other
you are
box-
significantly more likely to be crushed in a
Other
dumpster,
box
but you
is
are a
just a
sweet
vat of
robot.
lava.
Which one will you pick? It knows because it
There are,
also.
there are two boxes, a cardboard box and a dumpster.
Yeah, yeah.
You must enter one of these boxes.
Look, if you
Yeah.
enter the cardboard box, it might later be thrown in a dumpster, the same odds as it would always have. But in the other one, you are a
Yeah.
sick robot, which guarantees mean that mankind will crush you in that dumpster.
For the 24 hours before you make your decision, a Nightscope K3 robot will follow you around, measuring ambient air temperature and air pressure to determine the likelihood of which box you
And
choose.
then it will kill itself
If you-
and reveal that you are a robot before it does.
It will douse itself.
Now, make your choice.
It will slowly lower itself into a mall fountain, and at the end, a thumbs up or thumbs down will appear before its circuits fry.
And it will say, "I'll be back, back."
It will say,
will not
it will say, "Hasta la vista, baby, baby,
Baby,
baby," to Mel Gibson, who will then issue the final proclamation.
As to whether
He will crush the dumpster or not.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, this is all real.
He will pull he will pull the lever no matter what. It's just a matter of which box gets crushed,
Right.
and whether you're in it or not. Either the dumpster itself crushes itself as a dumpster, or the cardboard box is lifted into
All
a
right, I
different
think given
dumpster.
all of this, I am not going. I don't want to know. I don't want to
I'm just
know.
gonna walk away
I'm
from
gonna.
the question.
Yeah, I don't think. I think
Ignore
the
the
only way to
question.
win is to not play.
I feel
I'm
like
done.
everything
I'm
that we've
done.
ever learned about someone discovering they're a robot in every fictional anything, they just get ripped apart or crushed or
Yeah.
thrown in lava.
Yeah, they peel their arm open, or they get melted by
Yeah,
lava.
or they get
But you just mean
machine gunned by
emotionally.
Space Marines.
Oh, I see.
Well, you first, you're right. You're either just immediately become evil, or you're immediately conscripted in with all the evil ones, or your existential dread about maybe the fact that you are evil compounds exponentially until you are just machine gunned to death.
Are you just wholesale conflating robots with evil?
No, some robots are good.
Oh, okay.
I mean, what if any of those robots had been hugged by a little girl who said, "I love you, robot"?
Yeah,
then
that's
maybe humanity would be saved.
yeah.
Anyway, I totally want to. Well, I want to know. Just tell me if I'm a fucking robot. Just do it. Just like
If you the
get it over with.
consolation prize for
Chris,
being
am I
a
a robot?
is that that little girl gets to hug you.
Oh man, tell me if I hope I'm a robot. I hope I am.
All right, I hope you are too, Jake. Let's take a break.
Yeah.
This episode of Important If True is brought to you by Quip electric toothbrushes sent to your home with brush head refills every 3 months. And those brush head refills come with the new battery for your toothbrush. If you so choose, they come with toothpaste.
Ooh.
Yeah, they come with a full-size toothpaste tube and a little TSA-sized
Ooh.
travel toothpaste tube. Yeah. And it's just a really nice, extremely simple electric toothbrush. It's barely even bulkier than a regular non-electric toothbrush. It's a really impressively compact design. It's got a timer in it, so you will brush for the full 2 minutes, 30 seconds per tooth quadrant. And they will send you all the stuff you need to keep your brush head in great shape and to keep you supplied with everything you need for your mouth.
Nice.
Yeah. And you can get all that with $10 off your first brush head refill by going to tryquip.com/thumbs. It's as far as robots go, it's a very simple one that doesn't have a brain. All it cares about
Yeah.
is brushing your
It
teeth.
will never realize that it is only a toothbrush.
And if it did, it would be pretty happy about it.
Yeah.
It'd be like, this is a great function
Because you
to
love
serve.
your Quip.
I do.
I love you, Quip.
I love you. I love you.
I love you, Quip.
Tryquip.com/thumbs.
If I was a robot, that little girl wouldn't last long.
No.
She's human.
Yeah, it's true. So you are conflating robots with evil.
No, just what I would do if I became a robot. I would become evil for sure.
Oh, okay, I see.
Like, how would I not? How could I resist?
Yeah, fair enough.
All of that robot.
What are they going to do? Put you in jail?
What are they gonna do? Push me into a fountain?
Push me
Cut
into
to-
a shallow 2 inches of water?
Yeah.
Give me a break. I'm a robot.
Yeah.
All right, are we back?
We're back.
All right, we're back.
Yay.
There was a story that was sent to us by Finn Downs, who says, "Don't let your genes be memes." And this is which is a very good. That was his entire email. It's a very good email, and this is a link to a story on Technology Review about scientists using CRISPR, which is the sort of gene modification technology that we have mentioned previously on this podcast.
That we've disparaged.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That we have that we have level-headedly discussed previously on this podcast, being used to encode a GIF, an animated GIF, into living DNA. So DNA is just a bunch of data, basically, right? That sort of guides, that sort of indicates.
That's what it stands for. It's like data, not anything.
Oh. So you're saying we're robots?
I mean, we're I guess advanced organisms into which data can be encoded. I'll just read a couple paragraphs from it. It says, the promise of using DNA as storage means you could conceivably save every photo you've ever taken, your entire iTunes library, and all 839 episodes of Doctor Who in a tiny molecule and visible to the naked eye with plenty of room to spare. But what if you could keep all that digital information on you at all times, even embedded in your skin? Harvard University geneticist George Church and his team think it might be possible. They've used the gene editing system CRISPR to insert a short animated image, or GIF, into the genomes of living Escherichia coli bacteria. The researchers converted
the E. coli?
I guess that's E. coli, yeah.
Ugh.
The researchers converted the individual pixels of each image.
It makes you violently ill, but you get that cool GIF.
Now you know why.
Yeah.
Why
yeah.
Why it's so ill?
Oh, right. It was
Doctor,
it was that Minions GIF.
What do I have?
It was that fucking Minions.
You've got
Minions.
memes.
You've got memes. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, geez. It looks like you've come in contact with E. coli, which, as you know, is fucking rife with trashy memes.
shit
It's just
memes.
You downloaded it.
You're full of shit posts.
Yeah,
what can I say?
Yeah.
You've ingested E. coli, which appears to have been its DNA is encoded with what looks like 20% of the entire internet. So you're gonna die in like 2 days.
What do I do, doctor?
There's
What do I do?
nothing we can do.
Oh.
There's nothing we can do.
Well, you can get a lot of likes.
Oh, okay.
They delivered the GIF into the living bacteria in the form of 5 frames. Images of a galloping horse and rider taken by English photographer Edward Muybridge, who produced the first stop-motion photographs in the 1870s. The researchers were then able to retrieve the data by sequencing the bacterial DNA. They reconstructed the movie with 90% accuracy by reading the pixel nucleotide code.
That is so fucked up. Also, had that guy, when he made that, like the original sort of zoetrope or whatever multi-frame animation of that horse running was...
You mean Muybridge himself, the photographer?
if Muybridge had, when he captured those images, and then, you know, they've been used for all sorts of things, but if you're like... Anyway, one day, this is going to be turned into... a 24 by 36 square mosaic that is then encoded into a bacteria.
What's a bacteria?
Living inside of a person.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
What is a bacteria? He says.
It's like, what's germs?
What is encoding? What?
What's germs?
What's
yeah.
It's like, a mimetic device.
Of course. A classic historical meme.
First memester. Man, yeah, that is actually astonishing to think about. That was not even that long ago.
Yeah.
That was what, 150 years ago?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
When he made the first meme.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing to think that the first meme is only 150 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had jobs and cash.
A thing that is sort of fascinating to me about this...
Bob meme.
I think that is sort of fascinating to me about this is that if you look at the sort of before and after, if you look at the original image of the horse, it just looks like what it looks like. It's a very low resolution, obviously, version of the classic
It is in fact
galloping
a
horse. It
Yes,
is in fact
yes.
a horse.
Yeah.
And then when you look at the version that they pulled back out of the DNA, you know, that they decoded from...
It's in fact a moth.
It's right. It is...
It's got some pixel noise.
Yeah,
right?
it has some pixel noise. It's sort of a little bit corrupted. And the thing that is crazy about that to me is that it's like... It is basically analog, analog's not even the right word. It's like an organic introduction of data loss into a digital format. And it makes me think that at some point in the future, there's a great quotation by Brian Eno, who said, I didn't think about this before, but I should have had this ready to go. But he essentially says something like, all of the sort of flaws and imperfections of any new storage format will eventually become the beloved hallmarks for the generation.
They'll become like the aesthetic, right?
Yeah, and he brings up things like film grain, like the popping of a vinyl record, of the sort of very particular kind of distortion of a cassette tape.
Right, or VHS tracking.
Tracking, yeah. All of which are true, right? Those are all now outdated artifacts of old storage media that are now often intentionally conjured in order to create a sense of nostalgia or sometimes a specific aesthetic effect. And all I could think of when I saw this was a weird future in which the organically introduced data loss that is the result of your genes interacting with encoded data itself becoming a form of fetishized aesthetic modification.
That is cyberpunk as fuck.
It is so fucking cyberpunk.
It makes me hope that that's actually what's going on. I didn't do enough reading into this. Do you know if they actually uploaded the binary content of a GIF file into the DNA, or if they actually uploaded
I was
the
wondering
pixel,
the same thing.
like each row of pixel
Is it-
grayscale values, and then they reassembled it? Because what that kind of looks like.
Is it the CompuServe graphical interchange format, or is it just a bunch of frames?
This is apparently just being used for straight up data storage.
Yeah, yeah.
Like companies, like this company Twist Biosciences is actually like 5% of their business now is selling this as like a storage device. Like they're like it can keep data intact for 100,000 years.
Oh my God! Wow.
Do you have to like keep feeding it and stuff? Is it like sea monkeys? I'm sorry that that's my dumb dad analogy.
Yeah, this actually
but
this,
like,
let my
this puts a
floppy
real
die. Yeah.
this adds a real dimension to the Matrix. Right? This is like, what are those farms of humans being used for? Not only batteries,
Just hard
but their
drives?
hard drives as well.
Jesus.
I mean, it makes the premise of that film even more plausible.
sure.
That said, one of the other things in this article that I think furthers the notion that furthers the possibility of, you know, sort of beautiful organic corruption is that.
Is the existence of man.
Well, yeah, I mean, as a living organ, like genes, they pointed out that these strands of DNA, because cells are over time, cells just die off and regenerate and stuff. Like, if you actually sort a bunch of data in yourself, in your own human living body, as you grew and aged and your cells died off and regenerated, that data would actually be subject to corruption by virtue of your physical matter, which obviously the DNA is part of.
Right, like your hard drive could get sick, or your hard drive could have all sorts of other things happen to it.
Yeah. You can, I mean,
God, this is so lame. Your data could get a virus. Just kill me. So dumb. So stupid. All the things about this are stupid. I mean, also it's fascinating and good, but like the number of just like
metaphors that are coming back
the way
around.
that an old person or technophobe understands computers will be fucking made true by this actually just being living data that is actually organic, where it's like, oh, I guess it's sick. I guess you just didn't take care of your
take
stuff.
your antibiotics.
Like, oh man, all that stuff's gonna be real, and it's so bad.
Don't forget to vaccinate your hard drive.
Oh, fuck off.
Don't forget to vaccinate your weird blob of flesh that lives on in a jar on your desk.
Don't sit too close to it. Because you'll get E. coli in this case.
Sure.
But it'll be like a meme-ridden E. coli.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really annoying when, with the iPhone 9, Apple introduced a new proprietary organic, like, brainstem cable that doesn't work with any of the other weird gelatinous blob brain hard drive phones. Thanks a lot, Apple.
Yeah. The fact that your data could get a goddamn virus makes me want to die.
Love it.
It makes me want to die.
Why do you want to? I don't know why you're reacting so negatively to this.
Oh, jeez.
It's great.
It is great.
Yeah.
Hopefully data centers do start ending up looking like weird Cronenbergian masses. Like you go, you're like, oh, this is where we store, this is Google's data center. We have to keep it at a good temperature, but you don't keep it really cold anymore. You keep it at like 98.6.
Right.
And
right.
it is just like gross, sinewy,
Bags of,
red,
like,
muscular mass with just bags of fluid everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
That's when something starts growing inside of it that has legs and sort of skitters around.
Yeah.
So earlier,
My voice is my passport, and my epidermis is my filing cabinet.
Yeah. My voice is my passport. My stomach acid is my passport and also my Dropbox. Yeah. Nick, earlier when you were pointing out that when you were jokingly saying that people are robots, it added a hypothetical wrinkle to me to the question of, are you a robot? And we were talking about, like, do robots know they're robots? Do people know they're people? Etc. You could instead basically chemically gaslight someone by injecting data into them to make them think that they're a robot.
Right.
Oh,
and
wow.
make them see.
Yeah, you could inject like a serial number and like a date of creation and stuff in there.
Yeah, and just like a bunch of memes and stuff. And you're like, why would a person have
And then you could be like, hey, you want to sign up for this like fun gene research website where you could like find out what your family is and stuff.
Yeah,
and it'll tell you what's in your DNA.
Yeah, and then it just comes back and says Nightscope
Yeah,
LLC,
yeah,
and you're like,
yeah.
why is that in my chain of like what?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God, and so you could induce the I'm a robot existential crisis by way of, doing that.
I just keep thinking about the version of this where
The idea. Sorry, it coming back and saying Nightscope, but then you go through some more pages and you just see what looks like just hexadecimal data, and then you get that into a computer, and then it is a fucking shitty Minions Hate Mondays gif
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
Oh, what a bleak life. Anyway, sorry, Nick. Go
Well,
ahead.
no, I feel like even bleaker is just like the fact that this stuff can exist for 100,000 years. I'm just imagining the version of this where it's just Jurassic Park, except we're all dead, but aliens land on this planet sort of searching for what, could we possibly, could we recreate humans? Like, I wonder what they look like. I wonder how they, let's create a zoo and just recreate humans. And then they're just doing the amber, our Jurassic Park, our human our park scientists have created something no one's ever seen. And then Mr. DNA just shoves a fucking meme on the screen. And
it's
you're just
full
like,
of
what?
holes.
It's full of holes. And then it's just fucking minions.
It's just Mr. DNA jokes also.
Yeah, right. right. Yeah.
Crash. And then that zooms out and it's like, so we put this in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the idea of Jurassic
So we
Park.
filled it with this, and it's just a big minion.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Completing the
Yeah.
gap.
The DNA is incomplete because it corroded over time, but they found this perfect structure of the
Right.
CRISPR experiment of just dumping a bunch of memes into E. coli and use
Right.
that to fill in
Right.
the human that they recreate.
Right. So humans just walking around in cages saying am I right? Am I just fucking randomly shooting
Deal
out
with
memes
it.
out
Deal with
deal with it. Yeah.
Look at their primitive cave paintings, and it's just
Morpheus saying,
They're
"Would you believe?"
Yeah.
bad drawings of Morpheus and Neil deGrasse Tyson. But he looks like we got a badass over
Yeah.
here. Like,
Yeah.
oh God, humans were terrible. No wonder they killed themselves. No wonder they all drowned themselves in fountains.
God, this really is the bleakest episode we've done in a long time.
Yeah, it really is.
It's because we decided to open the Robot News Vault up again, which you should never do.
It's true. We fucked up.
Yeah.
There is one last piece of news that
It's also bleak.
I forgot to bring up previously, but this is actually directly relevant to a previously discussed
Bad reality.
concept of unimportant if true. Do you guys remember? This was maybe a month ago. Someone wrote in asking us to workshop their wish for a reality in which human hunger would be solved by allowing all human beings to generate up to 10 pounds of nutritionally perfect food at will by summoning it out of thin
nothing.
air. Yeah, in front of them, and being able to drop it from up to 10 feet away. And we sort of went through that whole experiment and determined that you could summon, 10 pounds of frozen meat or something and batter someone with it, and it would be the perfect crime. So a thing that actually happened days ago, this was under a week ago, this was reported, this is reported in, where is it? Deerfield Beach, Florida. 15 pounds of frozen Italian sausage crashes down on family's roof. Family wonders how mystery meat ended up there. A South Florida family is perplexed after recently waking up to a loud thud, only to find that the mysterious sound was several packages of frozen Italian sausage. It was like thunder, and it awakened me out of a sleep.
Wait, it ripped
Travis
through the roof
Adair
of their
said.
house?
No, it didn't rip through the roof, but it slammed onto the roof. It was very
Okay.
loud. They heard it. They went outside, and there were 2 packages of sausage on their front yard. And they were like, what? We should look on the roof and see if there's more meat up there. There were several more packages of frozen Italian sausage up there. They have a picture of it, and it's just a bunch of sausage and wrapped up from a butcher counter.
Okay. Well, it didn't destroy any of their roof, and that makes me wonder.
No, but if they were outside on their roof, it may well
someone
have.
might have, yeah. If they had a roofer up there without a helmet.
You're trying to rule out an airplane? Is that what you're...
I'm trying to wonder if there was a roofer up there who had met a genie and wished for this power.
Well, yes.
And then was like, what I really want is frozen Italian sausage right
Yeah.
now. Oh, why did I do this?
Yeah, and through some weird, as is want to happen with genie wishes,
Right.
through some miscalculation, he ended up sort of wishing himself out of existence inadvertently.
Oh,
but the
Or they were
food
on a magic
remained.
carpet
You know,
at the
it
time
could be
and
that
just
it could be
flying
that
overhead.
the person's wish, as written down, was exactly what they wrote in, and it was someone in the house who was granted this wish, and they were like, God, I really just would love some like Italian sausage. And then the genie was like, well, what you didn't specify is that the food would be frozen and dropped from the outer extents of the Earth's atmosphere whenever anyone wants it. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hope your roof's good. It was.
Yeah.
It turned out. Thank God.
who-
Otherwise, that malevolent genie would have bested them once again.
Right. The person who sent us this wish sent us the fully, like, not quite fully, but nearly fully bulletproofed wish had had experience of wishing for this before and being totally hoisted
Yeah.
when his
Right.
sausage was airdropped from a great height.
Yeah.
So Austin Adair's mother, Jenny Adair, said, I thought possibly it had fallen from a plane. I thought it had to do with a drug deal or something. Which I really like that hypothesis. That
Yeah.
just like we've been conditioned through sort of CSI and Law and
Right.
Order and all these shows like this that
A
if something,
drug deal?
oh, it's probably a drug deal. It must.
The
have
kids
been
are calling it Italian sausage. It's 15 pounds of Italian sausage.
But it's dropped from great height. Yeah, I like
onto
that.
their head, rendering them dazed.
I like that it fell out of a plane. Isn't enough, but it was probably like a drug plane. Probably like there were drugs.
Italians, you know.
The drugs, the sausages are probably drugged, so we didn't eat them.
The news story ends in an
Ah, God, my mom thought this also. At one point, someone decided to play a stupid prank on. By stupid prank, I mean one of my friends literally just stole pallets and pallets of Hanson's soda from outside of a Kmart after they didn't clean them up at night and just relined the cement walkway to our front door with just cans
Wow,
of soda.
Jesus. yeah.
And my mom came outside in the morning and was just like, what is this? And she was convinced that either they had been poisoned or there were drugs or they were like one of the students she taught was like somehow trying to do something bad, and but her immediate instincts were like, it's drugs, it's teens, you know, doing something bad, it's crime.
yeah.
I mean, it was crime. It was a friend stealing a
Well,
bunch of sodas.
yeah, sure.
But it's poison.
right.
There's drugs in
It's
there.
drugs.
It's
There's
drugs.
a drug deal. It's drugs.
Anyway, then we drank a lot of soda.
The story ends in an incredible way that I love by saying, if anyone knows where the sausage might have come from or had a similar experience, please email share@local10.com. So just in case this has been happening throughout South Florida or elsewhere, please contact local ABC 10 News.
Oh, I hope one guy's like, oh my God, the sausage fell out of my plane. Sausage fell right out of my plane. Or like,
Inventory was off by 15 pounds.
or just, I was flying home in my stupid private plane, and I left the sausage on the roof before I took off. I just set it up there when I was reaching for my keys.
Man, also the related news on this article, we just reacted to the drug deal hypothesis, but also the next related story here is cocaine found in Cookie Monster doll leads to Key West man's arrest.
Okay.
So
Area drug crime may have already set a precedent
Yeah.
that we did not understand.
yeah. Anyway, I think that about wraps it up for this episode. Shall we endorse?
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it.
Nick, what is your endorsement?
My endorsement is a YouTube video that we will link on the site. I don't have the URL.
You're not even going to
handy, but
describe it?
Well, what's it
I'm
called?
going to.
What
I'm
is
going
it?
to. I'm going to describe it. I just had a really odd experience, and I feel like other people might as well. Watching this video that was a walkthrough of the International Space Station.
Oh, interesting.
And I've seen sort of documentary films in IMAX about the space station or space, and of course that's an experience. But this was a 4K video that I was watching on my 4K television, and kind of not really consciously thinking about that. And then I just started watching it, and there was a moment where the commander is sort of showing people around, and they take them into that bubble,
Into the little observation
the
room.
little
yeah.
observation room. And my mind, I think for the first time, actually had a hint of what it would be like to actually be there, because the way this camera is floating through and doing
Right.
this walkthrough, and it's so crisp and so just perfect. The video was just perfect.
Yeah.
My mind just went, oh God, I'm in space for a half a second.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
interesting.
was terrified. I actually realized we had a question a week ago or something. Would
you go to
Would you
Mars?
go to Mars? My real answer to that question is no, because I realized that it would scare the hell out of me. just the feeling of going from the hallway where it's just wires and panels and then going out where you just have the view
Like
of
glass?
Earth. Oh my God! It was just like holy shit. My lizard brain just immediately recoiled.
Right.
In a really interesting way. I mean, the
Wow.
video itself was also just really interesting. It was like a 2-hour, like very
Oh,
methodical
wow.
walkthrough of like
Okay.
every system and
Interesting.
every
I
room
think
in the
they do
International
those
Space Station.
every few years because the mission commander
Yeah.
before Chris Hadfield did it was like I think it was just 1080p, but did a YouTube thing where she walked through the entire space station and it was like an hour long and it was one of the best things I'd watched. Like
It
within,
may be the same video.
Is it?
I don't know. Either way,
whatever, it doesn't matter. Those
yeah,
the,
it was fantastic.
was it full of garbage when you were watching it?
Yes.
Okay, it might be the same video.
Yeah,
it's a
it might
great,
be the same video.
Whatever.
Well, we'll link the one Nick
We'll
watched
link that.
either way.
I think it was that video. We'll link that
ISS tour
video.
videos, regardless, are amazing because it just makes it seem so real because it is real, but like
Yeah.
you never get that kind of look at it.
It's because it's not edited, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just your brain takes a second to sort of like get immersed
You
in
acclimate
it.
into it,
Whereas
yeah.
if it's an IMAX documentary or something, you're not getting acclimated to it because it just cuts. But
Yeah.
this was just like, oh, okay, is there is a room? Oh shit, I'm in space, and it was just very palpable and interesting. So I will find that.
That's
link and-
fascinating.
yeah. Anyway,
Chris, what do you have to endorse?
I am going to endorse an account on SoundCloud, which is it's a audio hosting service that is also where we host our podcast. But the thing that I am endorsing, which I will obviously also link in the episode description, is an account whose entire content is to take vinyl records of songs recorded by the Chipmunks, the
yeah.
cartoon Chipmunks,
Yeah.
and then play them half speed on the turntable so that the voices, which are recorded at normal to the way they record those songs is they record, and the Chipmunks cartoons, as I think most people could intuit, they record the people speaking or singing at basically normal speed,
Yeah.
and then they double the speed of those, so it goes into that sort of helium chipmunk register. But then for the songs, they reperform the music at normal tempo,
Yeah.
so that the doubled singing and the music match up. So what this account does is it plays those records at half speed on the turntable, so that the voice is back down into totally normal human
It's just a guy singing.
register
Yeah.
and speed for the most part. Yeah. And the instrumentation is all half tempo.
Right, it's like a slow
and
motion,
pitch.
like dirge.
Yeah.
And
And it is amazing. There is some amazing stuff on there.
Which particular song do you recommend as the standout, like starter song?
The standout starter song, I would say, is probably Walk Like an Egyptian.
Okay.
By the Bangles, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
And these are all covers, obviously. It's not like they took the original music
no.
and then re-recorded voice. These are all completely, new covers of these songs, but they're pretty close to the original instrumentation for the most part. So the Walk Like an Egyptian is just this brutal, crunching, like swaggering, bassy, just deep down version of
But
that
then a guy just
song.
going, walk like an Egyptian.
Yeah, but there's all this reverb on
Yeah.
the voice.
Oh,
that,
right.
Like it's just really, it feels so cohesive and intentional. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
So it's going to show up in
I'm
Twin
gonna-
Peaks season 3.
Yeah, it really, honestly, it sounds like a lot of that Twin Peaks season 3 stuff because all the drums are big and bulky and
Right.
Yeah.
resonant and huge. Nick, you really want to say something?
Well, I want to tack on a sub endorsement, which
Yeah.
is there is a Twitter account of somebody who is taking clips from the Chipmunks film and doing the exact same thing, where it's just the
Oh, I've
Chipmunks,
seen that
Chipmunks
actually, yeah.
talking like normal humans, and everybody else sounding like
All
a
the people,
god.
just
And
like-
it's just and then also just like he's doing weird things with like cross cutting to
Yeah.
different scenes, and
Isn't
it's
that
just
Oh, is this
Neil-
it's a Neil
it's-
Cicerega thing?
it is.
it is. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's very
I can't remember
also
the name
very
of that
good.
bot.
So so Jake, you asked what was the best like intro track, and it's probably Walk Like an Egyptian. There's a bunch. Call Me is also in there and is great, but I have now settled on my favorite total track,
Okay.
which I say that Walk Like an Egyptian, for instance, is a great intro track because everyone knows that song, so there's kind of like you have something to grab onto. My favorite total track that has been stuck in my head for days now is a song called Diamond Dolls, which is performed by the Chipettes, the three lady chipmunks that often accompany the chipmunks.
As opposed to the Chipmans, which is the name
Right.
of the men, the
Yeah,
male
exactly.
chipmunks.
And this was actually an original song that was in a 1987 Chipmunks animated film, which I never saw, but a bunch of people on Twitter told me is actually a good cartoon. But you would think if you heard Diamond Dolls and these are all covers, you think, oh, it's like they took David Bowie's Diamond Dogs and then just changed the lyrics. But no, it's a totally original song that has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
It's a completely original song, and it is awesome. And the effect of it when it is slowed down, because the original song has a guitar riff that's played at basically double time. And so when they slow it down, it just the whole thing sounds like it was always meant to be this way.
Okay.
And it is just it's a shockingly well-written song, both lyrically and musically. And when they slow it down, it is fucking badass. It is so good, and I can't stop listening.
That is
to
a
it.
strong endorsement. The Twitter bot by Neil Cicerega is Tripmunks. That's
There you go.
That's
There you go,
at
Tripmunks,
Tripmunks. So
All right, we will link.
what is the SoundCloud one again?
The SoundCloud account that I am referencing is called Chipmunks on 16 Speed.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll link both of those.
great. Well,
Jake,
I would like to endorse a product that I've been trying to get a hold of on Amazon, but I'm sure it's good. It's a 9.25-inch purple Flora terracotta flower pot. I've been told that it's great, but they won't send it to me. So it's really fucking annoying.
what have they been sending you instead?
Just nothing. It just doesn't show up.
It just doesn't show up at all.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's really weird.
That is very weird.
If someone has one of those, I would really like to get mine.
Well, Jake, I might just be able to help you out.
Oh, thanks, Chris.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I can give you some of my pineapple bookends that I stole.
Thank you for joining us on Important If True. If you have
These endorsements by O. Henry, by the way.
Fuck off. If you have any questions for us, you need our consultation advice, sort of to work through anything, please send those to questions@importantiftrue.com, and we will do our best with them. If you like this show, tell a friend. Consider rating us and reviewing us on iTunes. That helps us out a lot. Word of mouth in any form is really the absolute number one method we have to get the show out there to anyone. And we really appreciate everyone who has shared it. If you want an ad-free version of this podcast, you can obtain one by going to our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/idlethumbs. All the details are there. And our website is importantiftrue.com, which has links to everything we talk about on every episode on each episode page. And on that, we will be back next week. For Idle Thumbs, I am Chris Remo.
I'm Nick Brecken.
I'm Jake Rocket.
Stay spicy.
Ow.
Nixon. What is it?
Stay spicy, Nixon. The article calls it a historic horse GIF. Citation needed. Prior art may exist
Yeah.
on this historic horse GIF.